Come here.
Thank you. Good morning, welcome. Welcome everybody. Welcome friends over the waves on YouTube. Let's begin by taking refuge in generating the enlightened mind attitude. Until I have reached full awakening, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By means of beneficial actions such as generosity, may I attain enlightenment in order to benefit beings. Until I have reached full awakening, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By means of beneficial actions such as generosity, may I attain enlightenment in order to benefit beings. Until I have reached full awakening, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By means of beneficial actions such as generosity, may I attain enlightenment in order to benefit beings. May all beings find happiness and the cause of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the cause of suffering. May they not be separated from the perfect happiness that is free from suffering. May they abide in great equanimity, free from attachment and aversion to those near and far. May all beings find happiness and the cause of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the cause of suffering. May they not be separated from the perfect happiness that is free from suffering. May they abide in great equanimity, free from attachment and aversion to those near and far. May all beings find happiness and the cause of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the cause of suffering. May they not be separated from the perfect happiness that is free from suffering. May they abide in great equanimity, free from attachment and aversion to those near and far. Let's begin by taking a brief moment to make sure that we are here. Whatever we have been doing before we arrive here, we let it fade away into the past. Whatever we might have to do after we've been here, we leave it on hold for now, so that we can fully appreciate the leisure and freedom that is ours in this moment. As we are here, body, breath, and mind working together, we first pay attention to our posture. The way we sit has a direct influence on the state of our minds, so it's extremely important to respect some key points in the posture. First, we notice the contact we have with the ground, whether we sit on a chair or directly on the floor. We notice the stability. We can trust this ground to hold us. We can have a sense of gratitude for this support that is offered to us. Our hands may be resting, palms down, flat on our thighs, or in the meditation gesture, as the right hand in the left, both resting in the lap. Our shoulders are slightly outstretched so that our back is not caving. And as we outstretch the shoulders slightly, we begin to sense the spine being straight without unnecessary tensions. The straight spine is the central element in the posture. But we notice maybe a certain tension around the navel. And as we breathe in and out, even more deeply, we sense this tension dropping as our abdomen falls. And we begin to sense the center of gravity of our posture, which is slightly below the navel. Back straight, abdomen relaxed. We begin to sense the balance of the timber frame of our posture. The chin is slightly tucked in, the mouth is relaxed, and the tongue is lightly touching the palate. Will facilitate breathing. Breathing, which is happening mostly through the nostrils in a very natural way that we don't need to alter. The gaze is directly straight ahead. Eyes half closed or closed as we find it more comfortable. In a soft and open vision, when the eyes are half closed, of what is in front of us. And of course, thoughts and sense perception will arise. Mind is cognizant. That's its very definition. It says no way, and there is no need to suppress or block the movement of thoughts and the sense perceptions. Let them happen. Don't turn them into enemies that you have to fight and suppress. But you don't have to play with them endlessly either. They arise and they disappear, and you simply notice this movement. As we sit and contemplate the movement of thoughts and sense perceptions, we don't need to intervene, control, suppress, or promote anything. Just maintain a neutral yet aware state of mind and come to experience the peace and the quietness of the mind that is not constantly judging and evaluating. A sense of openness can be felt, an increasing sharpness in the perception, and then very relaxed mind. We just abide in this experience, letting the clouds of thoughts and sense perception drift through our mind without us following them. Now and then we might be trapped in a circle of thinking, drifting, following a train of thought. As soon as you become aware of it, snap out of it. And maybe come back to the breath as a support, watching the movement of the breath coming and going until you find the balance, the spaciousness, and the clarity that you've lost it for a while. Feel free to move or stretch a bit if you need. So in the Bible of the Bodhi Path, Path to Awakening, which is explained in 7 points, the last point, the 7th, is a series of guidelines, sort of to help us to implement the training, the mind training that we have seen in the previous chapters in this book on a daily basis. And today I'd like to sort of like talk about the 50th one. The 50th one is do not depend on outer circumstances. Trungpa Rinpoche's version of it is don't be swayed by outer circumstances. And so do not depend on outer circumstances means that your practice is something that comes from within, and transforming various situations in life into the path of Bodhi. It's not, shouldn't be dependent on outer circumstances. Sometimes, we think that some practices require an ideal environment. I have to find a nice place, a nice location, a clean house, have time, and be in a good mood. Okay, let's be clear, this will never happen. There's always something that's going to be missing. That reminds me our friend Dorothy, who came here once for a retreat, and she works hard. She lives in DC, and she was coming here to Natural Bridge to enjoy the quietness and deepen her practice. And the weekend where she was here for a retreat was the weekend where the jackhammers were digging trenches, like from 9 to 5 or 7 to 5 all day. And we had an opportunity to talk about don't be swayed by outer circumstances. So the beauty of mind training is actually not only it can be practiced in any type of circumstances, but it feeds itself from all these circumstances. So whatever are the circumstances, the first thing is let go your expectation of ideals, ideal time, ideal location, ideal state of mind, and so on. And basically, it's like in a culinary experience, I would translate that by the fine art of accommodating and turning the leftovers into a magnificent dinner. Okay, whatever is in the fridge, you get it, and then you use it to prepare a good meal for your friends and for yourself. So that's a general idea here in this 50th slogan. Don't be swayed by outer circumstances. Do not depend on ideal outer circumstances. Be aware that actually they never really exist, because they're just a mental construction. They're just us projecting these things. Ideal, it's just like there's a certain number of shops where I don't even go because I know they stop producing clothes beyond 38 in terms of size. And I say, oh, this is nice, I would like this. And my mind says you won't even fit a leg in it. Okay, so just pass by and save hundreds of dollars. And so the same with meditation. If you are always waiting for something external and extraordinary, the only thing you will have is a lot of resentment. A resentment for the environment, resentment for the people, the government, I don't know, whatever. There's always somebody to blame, you know, smaller with glasses, you know, the scapegoat, right? So don't fall in this usual trap. That's the gist of this slogan, the 50th one. Don't be swayed by outer circumstances. Do not depend on outer circumstances, but depend on or rest upon, take refuge in your understanding experience of mind training. And Trungpa Rinpoche put it in a very, as usual, kind of like very direct way. He said, if it's good, breathe it out. If it's bad, suck it in. And so it's kind of a nice motto, you know, for life in general. You know, if it's painful, if it's difficult, if it's challenging, that's time to breathe in and cultivate compassion and embrace this and try to recycle it, learn from it. And then whatever epiphany you gain in the process of recycling that feels liberating and feel good, breathe it out. Breathe it out, be generous, be kind, be attentive, take care of others and so on. Because all of these qualities that you may offer to the world are actually limitless because they're the very nature of your mind. Nature of your mind that you have discovered as you were breathing in, assuming, taking, being responsible, owning the difficulties that come to you. And remember that difficulties are not always painful. You know, we've seen that, I think, a couple of weeks ago. Very often we can sort of like work with hardships, but we're totally lost when the good times are here. We don't know what to do with this, you know, extra leisure, extra freedom, extra happiness, and so on. We don't know what to do, and so it's just like beautiful jar of milk that you don't know what to do with it. It turns sour after a while. Okay, maybe you can do sour cream, but still you have to do something with it. You know, if you don't do anything, you know, it just becomes green, you know, and the only time that you can drink green milk is on St. Patrick's Day, you know, so it's not very, very practical, right? So use it, whatever comes. And also don't be swayed by outer circumstances, mean like, don't be sort of lost by space and happiness and comfort. You know, because maybe you feel like totally drunk, you know, it's just like, oh, it's so good, you know, I enjoy it and so on, and nothing comes from this. You're not producing anything, you know, you're just like burning your resources and your good time. Or you might feel bad, you might feel guilty, you know, how come I am so happy when the world is on fire? And so you kill your own joy by bringing a sense of guilt, you know, like don't feel guilty. If you have space and leisure, do something with it, you know, be creative. And so that brings joy to you and to others. The creativity brings joy to you, and the outcome of your creativity brings joy to other beings. So basically the mind training is a 24/7 presence and recycling, reusing, transforming things into an outcome that nourishes both well-being and discernment, wisdom, both for ourselves and others. And if we can do that, I think there is a quality of peace that comes because we are not, as we are not depending on outer circumstances, we are not fearing what we consider our bad circumstances. And we are not eager to find good circumstances. We just use whatever comes, you know, and do something with it. You know, like what I like engineering and mechanics, you know, I'm kind of a motorhead in some sense. And what really fascinates me is these trucks that can use anything to run, you know, like You can put gasoline, you can put gas oil, you can put eggs, you can put butter, you can put anything in these things. It will burn it and run, you know. And for me, it's a nice metaphor for mind training. I don't know if you guys get it, but I really like it. Polycarburant trucks. It's like mind training. I know it's kind of a long stretch, but we can do, you know, in France, we said faire feu de tout bois. I don't know if you have an equivalent. Make a fire from any wood. So you're not selecting, you just use any wood and you make fire with it. So that's the idea. Don't be swayed by outer circumstances, don't depend on outer circumstances, but be strongly anchored in your mastery or your training in the mind training practice. And whether you have leisure and happiness or it's a little bit rougher and challenges and so on, remember, as Trungpa said, you know, if it's good, breathe it out. If it's bad, suck it in, you know, and learn from it so you can breathe out, because eventually we all have to breathe out. You know, the first thing we did in this life was to breathe in, and the last thing we'll do in this life is to breathe out. So an in between is just a rehearsal. Okay. Okay, this being said, let's go back to our breathing in and breathing out. To conclude, let's share the merit of our practice. Through this merit, may I attain true omniscience, then having overcome all harmful, destructive forces, may I liberate sentient beings from the ocean of existence and its turbulent waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death. May the most precious mind of awakening that has not yet dawned now rise. Once arisen, may it never decline, may it continue to increase evermore. Thank you all very much. Thank you, friends, on the cyberspace, and have a great day wherever you are. And see you next time somewhere. Bye.